Monday, the first.
Oh, happy belated
Oh,
birthday.
yeah, happy belated.
Yay! Welcome. Happy birthday, Julie. I'm glad you're here with your pink.
It was supposed to be blue, but every time I walked away from where I had the stuff, my daughter kept switching it out.
You did it yourself.
And then I didn't realize the last time she switched it out, I didn't realize it, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we're going pink.
I love pink.
Yeah, I think you're in the pink zone. Excellent. I heard a little Bob Marley today, and I was like, let's bring this energy. Just one love. I don't know if you guys could hear it. I couldn't find my little speaker. So just like feel into little birdies and sunshine and joy and sisters that like we don't even know each other that well, but we know each other so well. How beautiful that is. And just let that in. Let the sun shoot out of your heart. Yes. And if you like the sun, what it feels like to be like on total free time, feeling the sun with no wind, maybe just a gentle breeze every so often. Oh boy, so good. Oh, I can't shut it. And I will feel all right, goddesses. Yay! It's a total celebration. You guys did this on fast forward, like, let's do it. And that is so admirable. I'd love to know, Phoebe, what you brought with you. I see something. Do you have a pink guitar? What?
I have a pink guitar.
Okay. Well, that's pretty fabulous. I think we're all ready to have a band right now.
Yeah, I was totally meant to have the pink hair.
Yeah. And then Julie has her pink hair. I mean, like, we're all just ready to rock out and make a music video, apparently. We didn't know that was part of the challenge. Excellent. Will you play for us at some point? Or did you bring it just to, no. Okay, just to hang
practicing.
out.
I'm practicing Smoke on the Water, the beginning part of it.
Awesome.
I don't have it hooked up to an amp, though.
Okay. Well, I love how you reveal. I love your pace at which you reveal things. It's really, I mean, each of you have such exquisite timing. It really makes my heart sing. So thank you. All right. Oh yeah, your daughter knew. She was like plotting we had some telepathic thing happening here, and she's like, oh, I got the memo. Those mini goddesses who really know more than we all do. All right, so welcome to this celebration. I was like, oh, what should I grab? I always have feathers. And then I brought my shimmery shims things that a friend of mine in my neighborhood was working some event. He's like, here. And he gave me 3 of them. They were making them somewhere. And I was like, wow, gifts are just popping up in my lap. And here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I welcome you to this celebration. We're going to really use this time. Of course, it comes with a challenge at the end, but to really digest and pick out some favorite frames of each challenge and like what celebratory moments or moments that maybe came to your mind on Monday and now it's a week later, and did anything come of it or just anything you want to share. But I got really organized. I also added up all of our points, so it's exciting to see like what the game of it, came out to. And then at the end, I will just share again, if you didn't hear, but the exciting news that this is something for real that we're going to take time, 8 weeks to digest, so that we're not like everyday challenge. You know, that's not enough time for anybody to go really deep. Although this group really fucking impressed me. Like, holy moly. And is it okay, Deborah, if I celebrate you first?
Of course.
Okay, great. So I was so excited. I was like driving to meet my assistant and like doing all this stuff. And I get this really exciting news that Deborah is going to be doing the 8-week deep dive. Yay!
I'm all in. And I have to say it's totally divine timing, because I literally had just gotten a call from my accountant to tell me about what I was getting back in taxes, and it exceeded what I expected.
Abundance.
And I was like, oh my God. It's because I'm like really meticulous in calculating and not spending. And then it was like meant to be so clear. It was so clear. And then I was like, I'm doing it.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful.
Super excited.
I'm so honored and excited. And I remember our first conversation, and just, it feels really vulnerable to share, but just like, you know, I said, come do the free challenge. And you said, well, is there usually a program after? And I was like, well, if it feels like a fit, like I'm so trusting of that. Like, you know, when I first started, it was like, who can I like convince this is going to be good for them? And now I'm just like, I see how in my own world, I say yes when I feel it. And so.
Right. And it's true. You don't have to convince, because it's just so, to me, it was like so obvious. And then that was sort of like the clincher of like, oh, I actually can afford it, because it just is coming when I get the tax refund.
So cool.
It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so cool. I couldn't have planned that. I mean, my brain does not work that meticulously. So very excited that it feels like.
Yeah, I thank the heavens that it's possible.
Yeah, the divine. Amazing. All right, cool. So our first night was Come As You Are. It was like no makeup. You know, we lost a couple of women that were, I felt it, you know, just like really embarrassed when there was some dancing going on and so if you recall, that was the day with no makeup, hair back, like, who are we? What's the deal? And yeah, so does anybody have any favorite frame on that, or just something that happened that like turned you on?
I actually thought that it was interesting because I didn't even know we were not supposed to wear it. We were supposed to come as we were. And that's exactly what I did. So it just flowed right perfectly. That I was like laying on the couch. Like, I remember that. I was like, oh, that worked out great.
Cool. And it's things like that too, where it's like, oh, I'm aligned. You know, I don't have to prepare or get ready, which is a lot of training in my life. It's like, you're going to be late. You're not going to do it right. You know, like check in, make sure. And I'm so glad, Courtney, that you shared that, because it was like, yeah, it's 8:30. Like maybe I'm just in chill mode anyway.
I wanted to share a kind of different sort of alignment with that, is that it's the book that I'm currently reading, Come As You Are. I don't know if you guys know it. It's a fabulous book on sexuality.
Wow.
And I'm really into that book. And then I had heard the Nirvana song that day.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh my God, she's doing Come As You Are. So it like linked up for me.
I love that. And I forgot about that song. You know, in my most perfect of moments, I would love every song to be super, you know, whatever. But thank you for that. Cool. Yeah, Julie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it last minute, and I just saw the Come As You Are. I didn't realize I was supposed to have my hair up, and I didn't notice that till afterwards. But yeah, I was home. I wasn't wearing makeup anyway, so I was like, oh, perfect. I don't have to get jazzed up for this. And then it was really cool to see how many women were okay doing that, like coming with no makeup, and you know, because it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, like being seen just completely barefaced. So I thought that was a really cool way to start the whole thing off.
Yeah, great. Yeah, me too. And that was really, it used to be a lot more edgy, but you know, as I get older, it's like, oh wow, I look sometimes really different with no makeup on. And I remember years ago, I had lost my makeup. Like, I didn't know where it was. And I just took that week to like go out with no makeup. And I was working with kids at the time, and they were like touching my face. They really noticed. And then like what you were saying, Julie, I think that mask of like, everything's okay, I'm perfect, that whole thing. Awesome. Great. Anything else about Come As You Are? Right now, what was the challenge for that? I don't remember. Oh, just as you are like that. Okay, awesome.
Wait, what was the challenge?
I don't know. For some reason, I thought I wrote it down in my notes.
It was the I am statement.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I am. And how that came across was like, oh, we're going deep really quick. And everybody really showed up for that one. I felt the excitement. I felt like a volcano, like, amazing. Thank you. All right. And then Tuesday, our second day, was courageous communication, which kicked up some stuff for everyone. For me, yeah. How did that, either for anything you want to share about it, but a favorite frame would be a great way to start.
I actually did one, but it's too long to try to share, so I don't really want to necessarily do it now, but it was not something I felt like I could type into the thing. But basically, I finally spoke to my high school sweetheart, who I do see when I go to LA, and so we're friendly, and we have been for years, but I have always kept this thing in my, like, kind of something unresolved, and I like I opened my heart to him, and I told him things that had happened from our past, and it was a really profound thing, and I'm still not sure what the consequences are, like if my heart literally opened wider, or if, like, I can't quite tell yet what the impact is, but it was really amazing. And it was a total thing because of like this idea of like, how do you take that deeper, and like, how do you share something? Because it was kind of like resentments of because we had this long, very complicated story. So that's why it was too hard to post and to put on the share. But I did it, and he was very moved and very grateful, and had no idea I had like been holding this in for however many decades.
Wow, Deborah.
So yeah, it was a big one.
Wow, I like, as you were speaking, my whole body just spoke up. How many different, okay, great, thank you. How many different people that we have had connections with that have no idea.
Right.
Stuff. And amazing. Wow, I'm glad that you took that and really ran with it.
Yeah, now it's a little bit of a like, what now? Because I would assume it's deepened the friendship, I guess. And I actually owe him an email back, because he wrote something really sweet to thank me for having mustered the courage to share after all these years, that was, on my, like, it had that in my heart. And now I'm kind of drawing a blank right now about how to respond to his response. So anyway, that's my share.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I also have these past relationships that I took, before we started the challenge, just to be like, hey, I thought of you today. And like, I thought about, when I shared with them, I thought about you, like a specific moment, and that was it. I don't want anything. I just want to share this. And it opened up more conversation, because in the beginning, you really don't know, like, but so thank you, Deborah. I think for me too, the past relationship stuff always feels like, all right, going in, in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like clearing out the heart, because I kept thinking like he was my first love, and he like broke my heart so badly, and then there was like some repair, and then I felt like he had broken it again, and I never like told him or shared like all of that. So
wow. Deep bow, sister. That's amazing. Thank you.
Well, it's thanks to this week.
Yes. Oh, so good. Oh, anyone else? Yes, Julie. You did a big one too.
Yeah, that was a really tough one for me because I've been friends with her for a long time, and there's been a lot of ups and downs in the relationship. And one of the hardest things when I moved back home for me to hang out with her was I was still adjusting to being a single mom, having two kids on the spectrum, all that stuff. And like when I'm in my little bubble, like my daughter's my daughter. It's just this is life. This is our normal, you know? But at that time, going to her house, and she had a daughter who was like they're like 6 months apart, and watching it was very, very difficult for me. And her marriage, which when she got married, I was like, this is never going to work. I don't think I like this guy. This is never going to work. And to see that like hers worked and mine like completely blew up, it was just like a lot of things that I wanted she had. Not that she didn't completely and totally deserve them, which is why I felt so much guilt. And I kind of pulled away, and I let this wedge form between us. And so for me to reach out to her, and she's been one of those friends who has let me have my space, and she hasn't pushed it. So for me to reach out and like the way that I did it meant a lot, and it cleared a lot up. And we're actually going to meet for coffee this coming week, which is really cool because she actually sells my work in the gift shop in her gallery.
Wow.
So, and we don't really talk because I've let this, awkward silence build so long. So I'm like, we need to clear this, just like, Deborah said. And I wanted to say to Deborah, I think when the right words come, your email will just flow. I think, so if it takes a day or two, I wouldn't sweat it.
Right. Thanks for that.
And thank you for receiving that, Deborah.
Yeah, I hope that didn't sound advice.
No, I loved it. Thank you.
Welcome, Rosalind. Nice to see you. Yeah, so just to keep you, what we're doing, we're going through just favorite frames of each different day and like what came up. And favorite frames doesn't always have to be positive. It can be like a new awareness, or something. Because as we know, in sharing, sometimes the pieces get broken up and it becomes a little easier to digest instead of like a whole, piece of something. Great. Yes, Courtney.
Oh, so we're still talking about challenge 2, right? For the truth, speaking
For
the
the
truth.
courageous communication. Yeah.
So I actually, this is usually something that's easy for me, but because I naturally speak the truth. But I don't know. I couldn't think of like, so what I thought of was the text message I sent someone yesterday. I don't know if that counts. I just posted in the group. I just sent a guy that I haven't spoken to in a while, a guy friend. I had a dream about his cats. And I'm like, should I tell him that? Because, when you're a little open about dreams, some people don't take that very well. Like some people don't take dream talk very well. They just see it as dreams and like move on. Like, I think I take them kind of seriously, and I like sharing stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, what do I have to lose? And I haven't talked to him in a while, so how about I just open the conversation with that? And I just said, hey, I had a dream about your cats the other day, and I just started off with that. I didn't tell him what happened to the dream. I just started off that way. Then I waited for him to reply, and he said, okay, what happened? And then I proceeded to talk, and now we're still kind of talking. I kind of continued. And I'm trying to figure out how would I turn this into a VIP. And I guess my question was, does that count? Does something like that count?
Of course. I mean,
Okay.
we're in a really interesting age where, there's 55 ways to connect with somebody. There's Marco Polo and Voxer and texting. And I mean, I had a really deep communication. I recorded what I had to say and I sent it to a man. And it's like, it all matters. It all works. Because it's all about you taking the risk and walking through a fear and taking an action. Yeah, beautiful. And the VIP would be taking the next step was what the challenge was. And so like whatever that is,
I asked him if he has dreams. I mean, of his cats. I don't know. Is that revealing? I mean,
Did it feel like a reveal? Like, did it? Yeah.
it did, because
So-
like not everybody's open about that kind of thing, or some people say, "Oh, I don't dream." You know, he was honest and said,
Yeah, I think the next step is having engagement back and forth, whether it be
Yeah.
a plan or just like continuing. You know, the first step is just sharing, and then seeing what's next. I love your focus on the points. It's so good. Thank you, Courtney. Anyone else like want to share something that came up with the communication piece? Yes, Phoebe.
I found the hardest part about the communication thing isn't exactly what to choose to talk about and to who, but just in general, my how I present information, like my voice, my face, all that stuff, which is part of communication.
Yes. Yes. Communication isn't just words. It's like the whole human experience of saying something, and then you mentioned it somewhere, like your cheeks twitching or me starting to feel like my eye is closing, all the things. Or like me when if I smooth or touch my hair, like all of it. So great. I'm glad you brought that onto the arena here, is that communication is, walking down the street and smiling at someone that I find attractive sets off my whole body. Yay, Lucy, to look down, to look weird. And then if I look too long, I feel like, oh, now we're having a whole relationship. And it's weird. We don't talk. All of it. So great, Phoebe. I'm glad you brought that up. So Lucy and Blanche, who just joined, welcome. We are sharing any challenges or any favorite frames that came up with the communication, the theme of communication. Anything you want to share? Ooh, I love that compliment, Blanche, that Julie's son loves your voice. That's cool. Yeah, he joined us. I remember, I think it was the night he gave you a hug. What was that last night? Blending in my mind a little.
Oh yeah, that was last night, the hug. But yeah, he thought, just so you know, he thought I was listening to like a concert, like somebody famous singing. And he was like, "Who was that? Can we get the CD?" So yeah, he was digging it.
Nice, Blanche. I like that compliment. So Blanche, day 2, and again, all these will be available. You can continue, but we're gonna do the points today, and I have to add some more on for whatever you've shared today. But yeah, anything that came up with the courageous communication, and then we'll move to the everyday goddess, the body art. Okay, let's see. So moving along to the everyday goddess. When it was time to be creative and celebrate your body, any favorite? I mean, I have a favorite frame. I want to start with Julie's favorite frame. Julie's vagina art, vulva art that gets likes on Instagram, and like, what a fun experience to like have that secret. It's like how I feel about improv acting. I get to go divulge like deep, weird truths and then leave it on the stage. So it's the same thing. You're like, hey, you like my art? That's great. We know each other more than you know. Julie, so share about that.
That was so funny because my best friend knew immediately what it was, and she's the one, she commented, and I said, "I'll explain." So I sent her a text explaining what I was doing, like the whole group and everything, and she's like, "That is awesome." And she said, nobody has any idea what that is. I said, "I know, that's why it's so funny. Because it's getting more likes than any of my work."
So good.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that.
That was, I don't even know why I did that. But because I did the challenge and I was like, well, I went this far, let's throw one on Instagram. So
Right.
that was interesting for me because most of the pictures were places that I have scars. Like I said, that's one thing that I was so conscious about. And it was really interesting when I was trying out all the different filters, and like they all looked so neat and so cool. And I'm like, well, if I could look at them through a filter all the time, maybe they wouldn't bother me so much. So it was very healing for me.
Super. I mean, when you shared, it was a shadow. It was a really darker place of like, oh no, I don't like my scars, and then for you to have this much joy, it's like the perfect example of transmuting one thing, which is such a deep thing. It's the body, it's your house, and into joy. I mean, besides that you have the most points out of everybody, I feel like you really pushed yourself to stay curious. And that is such a beautiful display of like what feminine power does and how our mind can really be like, nah, what if I do this? Just really hands down, I'm inspired. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? And it might be, again, something that came up that was like, that still might be grinding. Yay, Roz. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that would have been, when you first started talking about it, I was like, yeah. But then when I tried to do it, I almost did it yesterday. And then I thought, oh, I don't have my camera right now. And then I was like, yeah, I don't have my camera. So that one, I just have the biggest, I'm behind anyway, but that one I just have the biggest resistance to right now. But I know I'm going to do it, but I even talked to my daughter about it, and she was laughing. She just thought it was hilarious because she thinks I'm just the daredevil. And she can't believe I'm just so paranoid about it.
Wow. I love that it became a conversation with your daughter. And here's the cool thing. We've been in this a week. So the universe hasn't even caught up yet with giving the gifts that happen when you take risks. Mm-hmm. So in the next 2 weeks or however long it is, look, things are just going to plop in your lap. So just so you know, Roz, and again, I'm not trying to be a Pollyanna, but just that you're putting so much effort and thought and are still in some kind of resistance, the bigger the risk, the bigger that is, the bigger the breakthrough. So I'm really curious to stand by and see
because I'm having so many breakthroughs as
yes,
God.
I know.
It's just been I've just been on a roller coaster. It's just been amazing, and I'm trying to be as gentle with myself as I possibly can. I just feel like I'm in a whirlwind right now, but at the same time, like I said in our earlier, when we first started, it's like I'm one of those people that just quit everything, and I was determined to follow through on this challenge, even if I'm behind. I'm determined to show up and and follow through with this. But at the same time, all these other things are happening, and I'm still trying to find balance with work, with the VIP, and and doing the thing with Neith, and oh wow, it's just been amazing.
So 2 things I want to offer. I feel a little more permission because Roz is in my VIP group. Brag the shit out of everything, because when it comes fast like this, it'll go down in big chunks, and you want to break it into pieces so that the universe gives you more. Yeah. And the more could be, but the more could be rest. The more could be time. So it's like a good test, and one Facebook post I wrote, I want more. And then more came, and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to not have it. So in order to bring it to a pace, it's just honoring it by bragging.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Yes. And the other thing for me too is, and a lot of your feedback really shared this was, this is a game, it's a challenge, it's a week, fast. I personally need things so slow. And that's the feminine, where we're like, I really want to stretch for 20 minutes before I take this meeting. So to be very kind to yourself, like you said, and everybody, even on the replays, that you guys are like A students showing up and doing the thing on time. But that one challenge, even the word fuck your fears, people could still be digesting. You know, even using that word as part of something on social media. So everybody be kind about the pace at which we're doing things. I think that's
Yeah, you saw my post about, I feel like I'm coming back from spring break with exams on top of my head and I have a hangover.
Yes. And to remember, and just to know, like, oh, my pace is a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's great to know about yourself.
Yeah.
Let's say when somebody's commissioning you for a $5,000 art piece, that you say, like, let's take an hour for that meeting. I really want to hear you.
Yeah,
You know.
Julie scared the shit out of me today.
Why?
I said, Julie scared the shit out of me
Wait,
today,
why?
talking about Prince, and I was like, oh, what? You know, oh God, it's just been
We
whirlwind.
gotta get your work out there, lady. Holy shit! Did you see how many women that one particular painting resonated with? So many women. That needs to be out and seen and available. Like, I want that on my wall, like big.
I really want to share. I want Deborah to share what she does for work. Is that okay?
Oh,
Yeah, I feel a little bit modest and humble because I wish that I could say I wield this power and authority to like make things happen in the art world for artists.
Well, just your
What I am professionally.
yes.
Well, so I used to have an art gallery in Paris, but when I came back to the United States, I became an art appraiser and an art advisor. But I am definitely someone who could help with kind of navigating one's way through how are things done, like as far as if you wanted to do like print editions and you had like logistical questions about how is that properly done and what would be like the right prices to do, or where should I try to market these, or you know, that kind of stuff. I could try to just give my input, but yeah, I would like to fancy myself an expert and authority, but in a way I'm not sure that it's just the art world is made up of so many worlds. But anyway, but I am a art professional and I'm totally delighted to help if I can in some way. And that's, I guess, all I can offer.
That's more than enough. Oh my God.
So I'm here.
The
what
fact
the
that
hell is going on?
the fact that the friend that I reached out to in the communication challenge has a gallery and is an artist too. I mean, this is all meant to be, Roz. Your shit needs to be out there.
Let's let Roz breathe.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But yeah, so Roz, you'll have to get my whatever through Shane. You can get my email or I don't know I forget where you live.
South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got email and phone and all that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotta hide my face for a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Yes. Let me catch my breath, okay?
Let's give Roz some breathe. I feel her like, and just so when we come together as women, like it is infinite. It's fun. I mean, it's so infinite. Like here's one example, but I'm sure if all of us started to open up and share and do, it's like boop, 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 boop. And we just have, support is real. It's not just like go to a meeting, talk your stuff, go back to your life. It's like, oh, it has an impact. There's actions. So amazing. All right, let's move on to shouting that shit out the window, which was our performance piece. And today, Julie, I think I'm correct in saying that you shared this on your regular page. I mean, what? Whoop-diddy-whoop. Amazing.
Yeah, that was the hardest. That's why it took me so long to do it. That was the hardest one for me. And I saw what Neith and Roz did, and I actually watched it again today. And I'm like, why can't I do this? And then I saw Courtney's, and I was like, fuck it. And I did it.
Nice.
It was just so, I really, this whole thing has been so cathartic and so liberating for me. And I thank you all for like really putting yourselves out there in such a vulnerable way and encouraging each other to do it. It was so awesome, because I don't think I ever would have done that on my own, ever.
So proud of each of you. Like, it's like I can't digest as much as you're doing. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, how do I not like talk about you to other people in ways that I'm just like, she needs her own show. What, you know, like, what's going on? Really, really proud. Great. Anyone else want to share a favorite frame on the performance piece, whether you did it or not? Yes, Courtney.
So yeah, I did mine today. I read a poem called I already forgot the title. It says I think courage is one of the words. So it talks about strength versus courage, and that one really spoke to me. And that was probably the most challenging one for me, because as I mentioned, I can be shy about how my voice sounds, especially on video or recorded. But I wanted to do this one, and really, you know, this is a challenge. So I really wanted to see like how far I can take it. And I'm very proud of myself for that. It came out cool. It took me a few times to record and keep doing it, but eventually it came out in a good way, a way that I was happy with. And yeah, I guess I'm glad I was able to do that. You know, there was a time when I was say I could never see myself doing that. So I believe I've come a long way.
Yes, great. And I love, way to brag on yourself. Like, if I could talk about everything a bunch. I'm just like adding on your points of what everyone did today and right now for showing up. Okay, cool. Anyone else want to share about the performance piece? Yes, Deborah.
Okay, so yeah, this one, no doubt about it. It still so freaks me out that I think I'm doing the 8-week with you for this one.
Yes.
I listened to the replay from last night, and I thought, and so much of what you talked about was like trying to explore why is this particular one so hard, and I think that's really what my whole trip is, because that whole art appraiser advisor, I always think of it as like I've got to be serious, and it's like buttoned up, and I have clients that are on that Facebook page, and the idea that they would see me in this, like what I would call my performative self, or my fantasy of who I really am as a poet or performer, I like that. I still, like, I could almost not breathe thinking about what it would mean or what it would be to do it. But then the really amazing thing is, last night at the Dave Davies concert, I just got this download of like, holy shit, I know what I have to do. And I started like getting really excited to do little tidbits of like sort of poetic, like little bits of beauty to just share with the world. And I don't know that my face has to be in it. It could be just, I can make a teeny little slideshow that's like 20 seconds long with and have a kind of theme that could just like brighten people's day. And like, I don't know, I just started thinking about doing something in that way of like, wait, this could be these like little mini artworks that you're just like putting out in the world to like brighten people's day and add a little poetry and a little meaning to life. And then I just started thinking, oh my God, what if I had like a newsletter and people signed up because they wanted to get those in their inbox every day, because it was just like a little delightful visual thing that had, maybe it was like a fascinating fact or just some whatever inspirational thought, or anyway. So then I thought that's what I'd be comfortable putting on my general Facebook, but then that is me, but it's not me. Like it would be anyway. But anyway, that one by far is the most like, that's a traumatizing challenge for me. Still, but I'm determined to somehow.
I love it. Well, I look forward to, witnessing you doing that in the next, in the 8 weeks of just like I love that that's your clear intention, and how it doesn't have to be like traumatizing to begin with. And Julie also put that, you know, the montage of all of her jewelry, like that was her.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So really amazing. Great. I just sent something to Roz. I hope it makes sense and it's well. Phoebe said something that I wanted to expand on. I can't imagine if people would see me. Oh, it never occurs to me. I just know that I saw myself in the replays and interesting. Yeah, that self-critic that, you know, I felt a little bit of it last night. Like, you know, I live in Rockaway and it's amazing. Are there any Rockaway women here? No. And I love living here. I perform here. I do all this stuff, but it's a peninsula. So last night, like, it's great. We're all here. We're live. And I sent out, you know, this program and the prices and all this stuff. And now I'm like, oh, I felt so freaked out that where I live, people know like what my business now is. It's not just like I'm a burlesque dancer and it's $25 to come to my class. It's like, oh, the online work. And all these little voices of like them talking about me popped up. And I let it in for a good like 30 seconds to a minute. And then I was like, and then the fear of like, oh, now they think I don't even charge enough. They think I don't even see my worth. Like all these. And I was like, okay, I could go to sleep making myself nuts. And I did a dance. I took out the yoga mat. It was late. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And I put on this slow bluesy music. And I just got to bed that way. And I was like, let it be what it's supposed to be. I can't think for everybody else. And I don't really want to spend my fucks that way. And Julie had mentioned it. And also my mom does do a lot of that, you know, of judging. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to go to bed with this amazing music on. I did some incense. I lit a candle. I put on luxurious pajamas. And I put myself to bed. So I love that, Phoebe, you brought that up. Like, how I want to be seen is like, I'm in a process. There's never one way. If you see me in 2 months, it might be completely different. So I think that's how I want to be seen, because that's the truth. We're always changing. Yes, Julie.
One of the things that Phoebe posted on the page was that she felt like she had resting bitch face, and I'm laughing because I've been told that myself. And I've had so many people, when I'm not laughing or smiling, be like, "What's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong?" I'm freaking fine, man. But yeah, I've been told that too, and I think that's sometimes the way we see ourselves. And I think sometimes we're thinking such intense things that our faces kind of look intense, and people misconstrue that for the bitch face. So I've heard that my whole life. So I'm like, I have laugh lines, I have dimples, I smile all the time,
yeah.
You know, but if I'm not, then people just assume I'm pissed or I'm upset.
Yeah. And it's really their stuff. I mean, it really aggravates me when men are like, hey, sweetie, smile. I'm like, oh, you do not want to tell, you know, and then, now I further engage, you know, without trying to be passive aggressive, but it's like, I feel really, you know, I might ask them like, would that make you feel more comfortable, or like, what's happening for you? So I'm willing to give them communication. And it's always very interesting, because if you come at, even with a super aggressive type of man, if I come with some communication that's like, what do you experience when you see me not smiling? Whether they know how to answer or not, they always stop and they're like, oh, you're a special one. I'm like, okay, I like that, you know? Because I'm really intense with my face. My face is trained as a theater person to express. And so if I'm sitting like this, I'm sorry, you know, I can't help it. And I might speak or I might not, but that's still my choice. And so Phoebe, I offer that to you. Is like, my face is my face, you know? And some people have a always smile. It's harder for me not to smile when I look at somebody. But that doesn't mean it's making me comfortable in the moment. It doesn't even mean I want to smile. So, yeah, Phoebe, I'd love to have your take on it.
So I realized recently that one of the reasons why I haven't in general smiled a lot is because of what my mom said at one point, which is, if you smile too much, you'll get wrinkles.
Oh, those phrases.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking in my head, is it really a conscious or a subconscious thing that makes me not even smile that much?
So interesting. Yeah, I get that. And, I was always really concerned about this wrinkle here. And I used to get Botox when I was in my 20s for it. And there's moments where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be one of those like white haired, wrinkly women that are so fucking fabulous. Yes, like I've been looking up this ombre gray. I just really want that look. But what if I let it happen natural? For me, that's the fear of like, what if it doesn't, yeah, not really a fear, just the wondering. And so Phoebe, like, even just questioning it is enough. Like just to see what happens when somebody smiles at you and because you can sense like, am I controlling it? Am I, just all those things. So great. Thank you. That's funny, Julie. Your mom said the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. And if I take a breath, people are like, what happened? It sounds like exasperated or annoyed, but it's more like, I'm just breathing, just taking a deep breath. Awesome. Yes, please do, Julie, because I would like to, because I want what you have, but with like the gray and then it'll eventually blend in or something. But yes, that's a question I have been pondering. Like I want to ask women how to go for it. All right. Courtney, I can't help but say like, what? All right, let's move through. How about the money stuff? Any favorite frames on your money? Blanche, you just did a...
I'm still working with that, and a lot of wonderful things are happening, and it's a lot of slow dragging molasses stuff still working through, but it's a process, and I'm doing it.
Great. And even just, I'm going to use that as an example, if that's okay. Like, what if it were slow and sexy? Like slow, feminine, taking time, instead of that word like dragging, because dragging felt like...
That's how it feels. It doesn't feel sexy. It doesn't feel like, oh, this money is taking its time. Ooh. No, it don't feel like that.
Yeah. And I didn't want to rearrange what you said, but just as an example for all of us, like, how can I try that on? And like, nope, not yet, doesn't work. But just
I'm open to that.
Okay, great.
That's new. How does that feel sexy? I think that'll be my question to myself.
Yeah, or to money. Like, come on.
That's what I mean.
Good, great.
Money, you're not here yet. You're such
great.
a tease. You're making me wait.
Yeah, I mean, and just like watching Courtney's money video, which if you have a minute to check out, was so like that. It was like, oh, money. It was really very feminine and very like, so that was, what a great example, Courtney. I want to brag that. That's one of my favorite frames.
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
Driving back. Yeah. And thank you for sharing, Blanche. You are so awesome. Yes. Yeah, Julie gave you if you could see in the chat, a big like, whoop. Okay. Anyone else want to share about their money learning? Yes, Julie.
Yeah, that one, it took me some time too, because I'm like, especially to do the VIP thing. But I did it last night, and instead I used, like I mentioned, my friend's gallery carries my work. Well, I get a check every month from anything that's sold. So this month's check, that was my VIP thing. Great. And the amazing thing that happened after that was, first of all, I can't believe I just shared that with everybody, but
thank you.
The amazing thing that happened after that is I've been through 2 divorces, so I thought my credit was shit. Got this thing from my bank, and I have USAA, and they're a really good bank. So it was one of those credit card things, and I'm like, screw it, I'll give it a shot. And I actually got approved for it's a very low limit, but a credit card. And I was like, oh my God, my credit's not as bad as I thought it was. So, I mean, it's just for emergencies, but the fact that I got approved, I was like,
I
holy
understand
shit.
that. Huge celebration.
Yeah, so I'm sleeping with that check like under my mattress now.
Nice.
That's where it is.
Nice. I love that. Really cool celebration. Way to play with it, inviting it into your bed. Like, I want to get intimate with my money. Beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else want to share a favorite frame about money? Yes.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Okay, I'm only gonna say this one more time. I'm still behind, but there's something I want to share, something that I have done in the past, and I haven't done it in a long time, but it's kind of like a type of money magic that I used to do. And I too, I've been married. This is my third marriage, and I like to say three's the charm. But I used to do this thing where, and I used to do it by the moon cycles, where I would take 3 sets of large bills and set it aside in this money bag, like hundreds, a set of 300s, a set of 350s, a set of 320s, and set it aside for a month. And then if I didn't need it, then I'd do another 3. So that's one of my favorite, types of money magic, and I put it under my mattress. So that's maybe I've been doing some of this all the time and I need to get back to it. But anyway, I love money magic.
Yes, thank you. And, I used to always look up different spells and different money magic, but now I just make stuff up. I remember I said that to Blanche one day and you're like, oh, you get it from the divine? I'm like, oh, yes. But I just, you do what you want. And so like, if maybe you bring money into the bathroom and you let it sit next to you while you take a bath, like anything that's intimate, where you're like, okay, I want my money to really be so close to me because that's how important it is. Not just to make money like, in a way that's not spiritual, but in a way that's like, it gives me peace of mind and allows me to further practices and allows me to spend my fucks on things that are luxurious. Yeah. Okay. So we have the one from last night, and Julie, I saw Julie and Courtney's, and so cool. So your the challenge was to write what fear is with a picture of your face, like a PSA. Did that come up as a resistance for anybody, or any favorite frames on that?
I'm sorry, was it resistance to the money one, or the
one that you did, the one with the fear with you flying?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did have a little resistance actually, because I get super anxious whenever I post on Facebook. It's been getting better, but my hands will start sweating. My heart will start doing the papillate. That's the word, papillations, or and I'm like, why am I so scared? And I think I had to like sit and meditate about it, or just talk to some trusted people. And I'm like, I guess like I'm worried about being found out, or like, I think there's this fear that I have. I don't know, should I go into it or should I hold off on reading it?
Just share, just a short version.
I think I have this fear that like if I share something on social media and it doesn't get a lot of acknowledgement, I'm like afraid that people will realize that I'm actually not that great, or not that cool, or not that interesting. It's like you can post something really great and it only gets 2 likes. Like, oh, she's not that popular, she's not that cool. Like, look at her. She can't even get that many people to like her. Like that. Those are the thoughts that go through my head, and I'm being so critical. And I know it's not true. It's these projections that I get. And I'm 27, so I've kind of grown up using MySpace, social media, and like doing all these things to get all this attention. And I think I'm just learning in the last couple of years that just because, the amount of likes is not equivalent to how much you're actually worth, or what your true value is. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, that's huge for me. I think that it's like high school or junior high school. It's like the same, I've done a bunch of spring cleaning on this and looking into like, that whole thing of like, if I post something and I don't get a lot of likes, like, why not, and so great. I think that's a huge fear that looks different for different people.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of our young, I know this is a big hole to open up, but a lot of teens and young adults who really are getting wounded severely in those popularity contests, and who are showing parts of their body, like doing things that are so not healthy. And a lot of them are committing suicide because I think my take on it is they're really wrapped up in popularity in a whole global way. And the shame that comes up when they show something that's inappropriate and then they realize like the extent of how that rolls out. So really, really blessings to our youth who are being raised with so much more exposure before they're even ready. Like they're still growing to even know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And yet with the click of a button, they're doing all kinds of crazy things, so just blessings and light ahead to them. And we're old enough to know about these things. So it'd be really great if anybody, I know Roz knows this, anybody wants to take their message to younger people, like, yes, they need it. There's not enough soldiers out there like us who really need to let them know. It's good to go share your stuff, but it doesn't have to be put on social media forever. So my little PSA on that. Okay, cool. So I want to tell you your points. Are you ready? Okay, so I'm a big fan of like no winners, losers, everybody. I mean, there's so many like points that everybody got, and so many of you participated. I mean, I do have to share that Julie had 114 points. And the highest number you could have got was 133. So like you did everything. Some were VIP, I think maybe one or two, and that was the only reason. But like, so great. And neat. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to read some of them out loud. I feel shy because I don't want anyone to compare, but I think it's fun because everybody gets goodies that I'm excited about sharing. So Courtney, you had 107. Roz, you had 80. Deborah, you had 72. Lucy had 80. Blanche, 64. Phoebe, 88. Susan, 48. Jessica, 78. But it's sort of hard for me because like Jessica, and I know she'll watch the replay, posted that really major thing about her body and relationship. And then she had I feel like I want to give extra points for that. So, it's relevant. But let's see. Esther had 75. Sarah had 24. Teresa, 56. Who did I miss? Anybody? Neat, 64. But again, like you showed up so fully. It's very masculine to take notes and numbers. So I'm like, bleh. But it's good for me. It's good for all of us. Yes. So everybody's going to get a cheat sheet. So Face Your Fears or Fuck Your Fears cheat sheet. And then anyone who had 45 to 80, I'm going to send you my ebook. It's From Anxiety to Ease, The Feminine Way. Yes, everybody gets the playlist. Thank you, Phoebe. And then for anyone who got 80 and up, so the next drop-in class, which is usually like $25, you get to come for free. So yay! I know. I'm so excited about giving out, like that this was really a game. Feels so fun. Like it ignited this little kid energy in me.
Wait, I missed that last thing you said.
So anybody 80 above, you get to come to the next drop-in class. So it's an online class. And the next one I believe is a confidence ritual. It's usually $25. It's for people just to come on in, no commitment other than the class. So you get to come to that, plus the ebook, plus the cheat sheet. And an additional challenge today where you can boost up wherever you were is to create a video testimonial about your experience here that I can share on the website. I'm so excited about all of this because it's like, once you think in challenges, it's really fun to ask for these things. Whereas in the past, you know, asking for testimonials, I always felt a little bit like, ugh. But I'm like, wait, it's fun. You get to share your joy and, you know, let other women know, like, this game looks like so many different ages, so many different races, so many different, you know, everythings. And that is just really the beauty of this work, is that it's seamless. And we all have stuff, and I really want to honor Neith and I's conversation about race. Because when I worked with teens in prison, they had no idea that I had any Black friends or any Spanish friends. Like, they just had this whole story about me. And instead of trying to convince them, I really realized, like, wow, in their worlds, it's very segregated. In their neighborhoods, it's very segregated. And I have this goddess world that's so integrated, where we can ask each other and share, you know, stories and stuff. And so it's really important for our youth to know our friends are our friends. And it's not always going to be easy or super fluid, but that we have tools to use conversations about the hard stuff. So the testimonial video would be super appreciated. And even just to inspire the women that I know have regrets about not showing up for the challenge, even though they registered, you know, like Roz was saying, or even maybe they did one, or, you know, you're here saying that you want to catch up, Roz, but there's women that I saw just like throwing up videos and just really wanting them to know it's okay, and that the challenge is fast, but that the 8-week program is available for us to really dive deeper, and have more time to do, you know, digestion, and more time to do feedback, and to have more personal space to, let's say there's going to be a challenge a week or a theme a week. So you don't have to just like, okay, next day. Yeah, Blanche, great. It's great. Even just to say that, like, there's 10 women that are like, oh, good, that kind of woman is there. And then there's 10 women that are like Julie, who are like, I'm doing it every night. And then there's, you know, there's so many women that go at each of our own paces. They need to know it's okay. Everybody's not like moving through stuff. And a lot of the feedback too is about how fast it was. And so that's like the exciting reason for the program. And the program it's still Fuck Your Fears. I couldn't come up with a cooler name. But it's a deep dive into personal liberation. And so that liberation is like how to stand in a place of power, and the fears will come, but not to give power away to them. And how, like, Deborah really explains, like, okay, I can start with doing pictures of nature first, and then maybe it's my hand, or I'm adding on, maybe it's my voice, so that it gets modified, so that your fear is like yours, and it's at your pace. And then your slowed down process, you'll get to see what that is in the 8 weeks. And it's like, oh, it takes me 2 weeks to feel complete. Okay, good to know that. And then when another fear comes up in life, it's like, oh, I can deal with this a little later. I have 2 weeks. So you start to know your natural rhythm. Yes, I love that, Julie. And then a big part of doing the 8 weeks is like how to look at life lighter, a little freer, a little less burdened, with old stories. And so I haven't even launched this program yet. Like, it's really just been in this insular little coven of ours, because it's like, I don't want to attack the world with a program to get, like I was saying, to enroll people. I want it to be women who are like, yeah, I want, like you said, Julie, like, I want my life to be a little lighter, my year. It's still, you know, the first, almost like the second quarter of this year. So how to embrace our fears and how to even reveal them. Like, everyone here, we're already doing the work. but some women are like holding their fears in so tightly. And even just sharing it might take a week. So really commending each of you for being in the front line and willing to play, willing to play. So let's see, what else, what other notes? Obviously more personal attention. So if you're interested, in your inbox right now, so the program for the rest of the world will be $1,100. But I'm giving it to each of you for $800 because you've really helped me create it, first of all. I want it to be an easy yes, if you want. And so I'm offering also 2 private sessions because I really want you to get specifics for your life that maybe wouldn't come up or came up during the group, but don't really want to share. Or if somebody else triggered you, that's what one-on-ones are really good for, so that you don't go back into that hiding phase. There's a couple of women that are in my VIP group now who are like, yeah, I came on that night and something freaked me out. And so we had a private session on it just so that it doesn't stay unresolved. Okay, let's see. Any other details or questions? If we're already working together, those private sessions are used as teacher training. So it could be for your business, or I really want to help each of you create your own groups or events or something where you're holding space for a group. I'm so passionate about that. And especially because you're frontline women, like, you already know how to hold space. Even if you don't give yourself credit for it, not one time this whole week did anybody give advice. Not one time this whole week did anybody really get triggered in a way that everybody felt awkward. I mean, I'm prepared for that, but it didn't happen. So you're all already ready, if you didn't know, to hold space. You already have done it. So that's all my joy and excitement. Let's see, anything else? Just some super logistics. So if you're interested, and it will go away tonight, the $100 deposit. I don't really want to give that to anybody else. Because I know you guys will show up, because people throw away $100 and they don't do anything. So that is just for you, because it's the thing where it's like, I can say yes to that and then work out the 2 payment plans afterwards. So that's available. And if any conversations you want to have, or just check in about what date you can set up your payment plans for, I'm open for that too. Okay, any questions or anything, any other celebrations? Those are 2 things, questions about the program, but and then we'll go into celebrations. Let's stay organized. Woo, woo. Yes, Roz, thank you. Excelente. And of course, yes, I remember, Phoebe, you will all get the playlist. And each playlist is really infused with all of our energy and joy. So when you play it, let it really fuel your body. Okay, cool. So if you want to email me or message me privately, we can have a conversation as well. Let's close out with, I know it's going to be hard in 1 or 2 words, but let's use up to 3 words of what your takeaways are. What is yours to keep forever in 3 words or less? And you can share more in the group if you wish, and in the video. Yes.
My favorite takeaway is ashe. That word. That is, it's the best word ever.
Yes. Ashe. It sure is. What's even better, what I hope and wish for everyone, is to be standing around a fire with all of us, or whatever group, and to say it and feel whatever you're ashaying, because it goes into the roots of the ground and it comes up into your body, and to hear it loud, I mean, I'm just igniting my whole body. It's the most powerful thing, and you get to bring that wherever you go. So thank you. Anyone else? Up to 3 words of what you're taking with you.
I'm taking away, it just felt so good to be on this call and just witness what happened with Julie and Roz and Deborah. It just felt so good, and I got to witness it. And whenever I witness something like that, it just also makes me feel like some great stuff is coming for me too. But still, witnessing their great stuff was like, oh, this is so good. So yeah, that's my takeaway.
Yes.
Amazing. Let's
Yes.
rise each other up.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone else?
Mine is energy, sisterhood, and money is energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most important thing we need to remember.
Great. Great. Thank you for highlighting that. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I want to say fear feels, in parentheses, fucking fantastic.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Who else? Courtney, you had your hand up.
Inspiration is like a big one for me. And I say that because as I was just doing the different challenges, I kind of like thought of somebody that I look up to. And they always look so elegant, and they speak with such they just sound so confident. I want to say dignity. I don't know if that's the right word, but there's just something about the way they carry themselves that it's so strong. And I also watched the Lincoln movie a few days ago, and I love his personality. He's a very, if you're familiar with Abraham Lincoln, he was very true to himself. He was a very well-liked person. He knew how to really connect with people, and he was very courageous. And I think like that, though, those two people combined just really inspired me. The other one was a drag queen that I look up to.
I love it. Oh my God.
And I don't know, I just like felt this like drag queen, like glamorous, like feeling as I was reading and just doing the different challenges. I'm like, I got this. Like if they can do it, I can do this too. And
Beautiful.
and then when somebody's coming back and telling me I inspired them, like Julie did, that just confirms that I was on the right path. So
Yeah. Amazing. It's really a beautiful treasure to watch you shine. You know, to go from the last challenge, the video challenge, to this one, like we just see you. I'll say we. I see you. We see you. Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get 3 words. Who else? Yeah, Deborah.
So for the week, the overall takeaway is liberation is sexy. There's just something about like that. This whole week with you guys or with all these enchantresses is like everyone's so beautiful, and there's like this feeling of like, yeah, we're magic makers, and there's like this kind of titillating sexiness to it. And I was thinking like, yeah, it's like liberation is just like, it just feels so good.
Even like saying it, my whole body is like,
Me too. I was just gonna say I got chills.
yes. Yeah. Liberation is like embodying liberation. That's what we're doing.
Mhm.
I love all the words everybody's using. Okay, cool. Who else? Phoebe.
I think I can't use 3 words. I just wanted to say that it feels like a lot of my life is like being synchronic, you know? Everything is lining up. Like a lot of shit happened, but now I'm like, I'm going to become a Kundalini teacher, and I'm learning how to play the guitar, and like next, what? It's sign language? Like that's one of my bucket lists, right?
Amazing. Wow, there's really no limits. And I love that you have a pink guitar. And I would love to bring you in as a spotlight dancer to teach us some Kundalini, because it's really, it's action and breath and movement. Like you could be sitting and doing it anywhere. So yeah.
Magic. That's magic.
That is
Baby.
magic stuff. Yay. So learn away knowing you have a place already to bring to practice. Go ahead.
And I'm pretty sure that me going to all these Kundalini classes has caused my partner to have like a Kundalini awakening all on his own.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe, you really reveal at such beautiful pace. Just so you know, your timing is really elegant and graceful.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I like that you smiled at the end.
That's beautiful.
Excellent. All right. Did everybody share? I think so. All right. Without my speaker and without further ado, I close us out with my favorite artist, singer, that both my businesses I've named after her. I love Stevie Nicks, and she and I are friends in my head, and we've met. I just love her. So let's close out. Feel free to stand up if you wish. And if you haven't stood up and danced yet, it could be the time. Oh, I want to. And to just really celebrate yourself right now in this moment. Yay! I'm glad. Nice. I'm glad you think. Yay! Fuck your fears! And just give yourself I am open to receive abundance for the highest good of all involved. Oh, it's so hard to end it. All right, goddesses. I look forward to seeing you in the Awkward Enchanted Coven or Fuck Your Fears 8 weeks. Either way, I am fucking grateful for everything you've brought and all that you will continue to bring. Mwah! Have an enchanted rest of your Sunday. Yay! Receive, receive. Bye.